Hi there, everyone. This is Sarah Brum, and I am an alto as part of Chanteclair. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to make some homemade fabric masks. So I'm here in my office area, and here are the materials that you are going to need to make your own mask. You are going to need a cut of fabric. This cut is 9 inches by 13 and a half. This was originally cut as a half of a yard of fabric, and I cut it down to 9 by 13. You're also going to need some pins, 2 pieces of elastic. Today I'm using 1/4 inch thick flat elastic, some pony beads. Actually 4 of them, 4 pony beads. There they are. A cut in half piece of wire. Today I am using a pipe cleaner because it's just a little bit softer. Also need my sewing machine and my handy dandy ironing board and iron back there. So the first thing that you are going to do is you're going to take your piece of fabric and iron it out so it's nice and flat and ready to go. You're going to fold this in half like a taco. So this is going to be like the top of the either the top or the bottom of the mask. So if you have a special design, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but you're wanting to have your short edges match for right now. Okay, then you're going to take 4 of your pins and you're going to pin the long opened end closed. Okay, so I just take 4 of them, 2 for the ends and 2 for the middle. I'm going to take my first one way in this corner, next one on this side. Let's see if I can do it. Whoops. There we go. And then 2 kind of distanced apart in the middle, because we're going to kind of make this, there's going to be a hole here so that we can flip it inside out when it is time to do that. So you have your short side. Well, it was the short side, but now it's the long side, pinned in 4 places. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now we're going to take this over to our sewing machine. And you are going to start at the very front of it. I like to line up my edges right on the side of my foot. I believe that's like maybe 3/8 of an inch, just slightly right next to that. So it's just a very small seam. And I take the pin out once the foot of the sewing machine is down. And so I'm just going to start off slowly by putting in some stitches. Okay, and then if you have the reverse on your machine, you're just going to reverse a couple stitches to strengthen it. My machine needs to get cleaned, so what I'm going to do is I leave the pin in, I turn my whole mask, and then just like back stitch a few. I put the foot back down and back stitch just so that it strengthens up the one side. Turn it back around again. And then go back down, leaving that like fabric right on the side of the foot of your sewing machine. I'm gonna go all the way down until I hit that first bobby pin, because that, or I'm sorry, the first sewing pin, because that is going to be where the first opening is. So, see if I can get my camera to cooperate so you can see this. So I stopped at the just shy of the first pin. I'm going to turn this around, back stitch to strengthen it up. Again, if you have, which you should, you have the reverse on your machine, you should just be able to put it in reverse for a couple stitches. And I turn it again because I'm very particular about it, and just finish it off. Okay, right where that last stitch met up, I'm going to lift my foot, pull it, and take those out. Now, what that just did, got a loose string, was stitched the one side, and so now I stopped at the pin. There goes. I stopped at the pin, and then I'm going to pick up at the other pin and keep going. But I did finish this one edge off. I just strengthened it, did the double stitching, and then went right off the edge. So now you're going to pull out any excess pins that you have in your mask right now, and just take a small pair of scissors and cut off all the extra little strings. I don't have any like regular scissors, so I got kid scissors because, you know, that living that teacher life. And then I'm just taking it to all the exposed thread that I have on each of the entrances and exits on my mask. And I already cut the ones off from the end. Now you're going to just set this part aside, and we're going to go on to the elastic. Now the elastic is for the ear parts. I have made it so that my earpieces are now going to be adjustable. So what you're going to do is you have, these are 9 inches long elastic pieces. You're going to put them together and then put a pony bead in between one of them, kind of like the backing piece of the fastener. And pull that all the way through. And then you're going to take both of the ends of this elastic, and then you're going to put the pony bead through. I find that it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, so I put a piece of pipe cleaner around the edges, and then put the pony bead on the end of the pipe cleaner and pull them both through, because it gets to be a pain in my butt. Ends through. Take that pipe cleaner off the one end, and then I'm just going to move this all the way to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing with the other piece of elastic. So now we are going to be attaching the elastic with the beads on it inside of our pieces of fabric. So what you're going to do is open up the short ends of your fabric that you just sewed together, and you are going to slide in, and get it from this side, slide in that piece of elastic. Make sure that it is flat, and it's going to go right against the inside fold of your mask. Then just kind of scrunch it in there, make sure it's nice and tight, and you're going to put a pin right through the elastic and the mask so it stays in place. Now the other side of the elastic is inside of here, so you are just going to make sure that it's flat inside. You've laid it in. Take the other side and make it snug to the seam side that we made, and make sure that the elastic doesn't stick out because we don't want to waste it. Get it nice and snug to the side like we did before, and put a pin in the top. Okay, now we're just going to put a few additional pins in between these two so they can stay nice and secure for a nice flat seam. So I'm going to start on this side. I don't put too many in just because you don't really need that many, but if it's really bunching up, then I would put a couple more where that bunching is happening so it will lay nice and flat when you sew over it. You want to try to get these seams matched up as best as you can, because we want our mask to be nice and square. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now we are going to be sewing the side with the elastics closed, so you can see just like the original side that we closed up, I lined the fabric up to the side of the foot so that the seams are the same size. Remember that these two corners have the elastic on them, so we really want to strengthen those, so I'm going to go over those just like I did with my other ends a few times. So there we go, my foot is So I just finished closing up this side, so now I'm going to cut off the pieces of extra thread, and then I'm going to turn it inside out. So making sure I'm getting all these little pieces, because I went in all four of the corners, so there should be edges on each of those. And one more. Okay, make sure that I got all the rest of these strings off of here. And now I'm going to be turning this mask right side out. So I'm going to find that little hole that we made originally, go in and find one of the elastic pieces, and you're just going to gently turn this inside out. If you pull too hard, then some of the stitches from where the hole that we made, they're going to try to open up. So just take your time, pull it out gently, and then just keep working it out. And there you go. I just like to stretch on my edges, make sure that they are nice and clean. So the next part of this is you're going to lay this out, your mask out nice and flat, and then you're going to press all of the edges. So you have a nice flat piece of fabric, double-sided fabric to work with. I flip it over and press over here Just be careful of the edges with the elastics and the beads, because I've definitely melted a few beads because I wasn't paying attention. Now what you're going to do is you have half of a pipe cleaner. I just take my pipe cleaners and cut them in half, and I use a pair of like needle nose pliers, and I'm just going to turn the edge of the pipe cleaner down and then squeeze it together so that this has a nice rounded edge, because this is going on your face and you do not want anything poking or prodding. I do it on both sides. Just give it one good loop and then squeeze. And sometimes I gotta finagle with it just to get it nice and flat. Now what you're going to do is you're going to insert this where we made the hole. And so my hole's on this side, and I'm going to just shimmy this all the way up so that the pipe cleaner is now on the completely closed like folded edge. I like to like shake it out so gravity can do the work. You can kind of move it and prod it however you need to make it get there. There we go. Now you are going to center your pipe cleaner so it's right in the middle, because this is going to be used as the nose, the movable nose piece. You know, people who have glasses really like that so it doesn't fog up. And I'm just going to pin this into place. So I'm going to take 3 pins. I'm going to take one and do it the long way so the pipe cleaner just gets stuck right in that area, super close to the top. And then I'm going to put a pin on either side of the end so I know where I need to stop when we get to the sewing part. So I'll put this one first. The edges here. Right on the other side. Okay. Now you are going to fold this guy in half and press him, because we're going to be starting on our pleats. So if you have a pattern that has like a top or a bottom or a certain direction that it needs to go, make sure that when we do the pleating, that you're pleating down so that the design is what should be showing on the front. So we're just going to fold this in half, and then I'm going to press this side, iron it, so it is going to be one of our first pleats. Okay, then I'm going to fold one half in on itself, so then its end meets the middle where we just made that crease. Fold this side. And fold the other side. So now you should have three iron kind of folds on your face mask. So now we are ready to do our pleats. This is probably going to be one of the harder steps, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. I originally folded it in this way, and then I just turned it the other way to make it a little bit easier in terms of the pleating process. If you have a design like something that goes from top to bottom, make sure that the side that you are currently working on is the way that it that you want it to face, because these pleats are going to be facing down. You are going to take your bottom most full or ironed edge, and you're just going to fold it over just so that I just kind of eyeball it up, just like a small section of it. I believe it's probably about a quarter or a half of an inch, and that's going to be your first pleat, and you're just going to put a pin right in that. And that's going to go through both layers, so it's kind of like a little bit of a sandwich. I do the other side right away. Then you're going to go to that second fold, making that into a second pleat. Again, just kind of like eyeballing it, making sure that the pleats are somewhat the same. Pin that again. Do the same thing on the other side. Then I just kind of check to see if they're like somewhat the same in terms of the pleating. And then you're going to do your final pleat. Take that top fold, fold it all the way down, and pin that pleat right down. And the same thing on the other side. And now you should have 9 pins in your mask. 3 on this side for the pleats, 3 on the other side, and then 2 at the top for the pipe cleaner and 1 sideways. Okay, so I'm back to the sewing machine as we are going to sew the outside of the entire mask. I am currently on the bottom of the mask, and I start the foot right in the middle. I think it just makes it easier, but you could kind of start wherever you wanted to. And so the distance between, or for this seam is going to be a little bit smaller just because it's going to be the most exposed edge. Before I was lining this up to the edge of the foot. Now I'm going to be just slightly inside of that so I can have the kind of like the smallest seam possible in this. So here we go. And this is where our pipe cleaner is. And so we're going to be making kind of like a little pocket for the pipe cleaner because we don't want it to be poking out of the seams. So I try to get as close as I can to the edge, and then we're going to kind of make 2 corners so that it kind of lives in there. Remember, our pins are there to kind of guide us. So I get to my first pin. I'm going to turn this, put it back down. I'm actually going to take the pin out of the back of it just so it doesn't get stuck in there. I'm just putting in like 2 stitches, and then I'm going to turn it again. And then I'm stitching all the way down the length of the pipe cleaner. And I kind of like use my fingers to jam it over basically, just so it stays right where it should. I'm going to take this pin out. Of course, this is the wrong side. There we go. Second pin out. Turn it once you get past the pipe cleaner, but 1 or 2 stitches back in. And go all the way down the other side. And then to finish it off, I like to go past where I started just to secure that original entrance. And lift it up, and I tear it off. Okay, now, so you should basically have your mask all done, kind of. You can pull out the rest of your pins. And then you can take your scissors and clean up all of those excess little pieces. Yep. Seems to get everywhere. And then where we finished and started, there should be some. Now all you have to do is press it and you will be done. So last step of the mask making process is just ironing this so this lays nice and flat and you are ready to go. And there you go. You have a completed mask. Now you can put it on and enjoy it or donate it. I will put mine on so you can see what it looks like. So here is my completed Star Wars R2-D2 mask. Just put it right over my ears, extend it down, press that pipe cleaner over my nose, and then I still have that option on my ears to make it tighter if I need to on either side, and they can kind of be moved around for those of us who have glasses to make it a little bit easier for those to stay. So I hope you learned something new, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye!